Good morning, you all. It is Sunday morning, September 22nd, about 8:26 in the morning. Um, yeah, again, usually I try to do this on a Saturday, but Saturday yesterday was a little bit busy. And I also know a lot of people that watch these live streams, and a lot of my friends and everything too, are at the No Name Nationals. So big shout out to everyone that's there. A lot of my subscribers are also content creators themselves. And big shout out to you guys. I hope you're having fun. And I wanted to go this year, but things didn't work out. So I'm here. And yes, I'm working on the damn transmission again. Anyway, I hope you guys are all having fun. I'm looking forward to seeing the videos. And anyway, yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, and there's a few things I wanted to talk about. One is, again, and I know this is getting long. It's been aggravating me as well, but I'm working on the transmission on the old Dodge W250, my old pickup truck. It ran great. Everything worked for about. I put about 500 miles on it with the transmission, and had the camper on it. And the camper weighs. I know, even though it's a small looking camper weighs right around 2,000 pounds, give or take a couple, depending on what's loaded. Empty weight on it with nothing in it is 1,800. Real easy to throw another 200 pounds worth of camping gear in there, or another 200 pounds worth of camping gear in there to bring it up to 2,000 pounds. Truck ran great. All four gears worked, reverse worked, had no problem with it. Drove it back and forth to work when I got home, took the camper off, and went out one Sunday evening to run to a store, and there was no reverse. Okay, no big deal. Um, kind of figured, it's a new reverse band. It might need to be adjusted. So, kind of a pain in the butt to do it. But I dropped the transmission oil pan, and that's how you get to the adjuster. Went to adjust it, and this little wedge that holds that reverse band in place, that was sitting at the bottom of the pan. I was like, okay, well, here's the problem. So anyway, in order to get that back in, I have to take the transmission apart and everything. Not only that, but uh, when that wedge let go, that band got jammed and twisted. It wiped out the brand new band, and believe it or not, it wiped out my reverse drum on that transmission. Tony, good morning, sir. Good morning. How you doing this morning, Tony? I'm just running through a quick rundown of what happened to the transmission on the truck again. I lost reverse gear. The reverse band, there's a little wedge that holds it in place. That came out, and it wiped out a brand new reverse band, and it also wiped out the reverse drum on the transmission. So right now I'm waiting on parts. Why did the wedge come out? I'm not 100% sure. Might have been my fault. Somewhere along the line, it probably was. I mean, that's my first transmission, but I'm still not 100% sure why. Uh, and a little bit of backstory why I have doubt in my mind too on what's going on is when I tore that actual transmission apart, the overdrive part, separate piece, is the part that failed on me. The casing cracked. I lost all the fluid. So had that taken care of, no problem. But the only reason why I even got into the transmission is because I was having trouble with the reverse gear to begin with. And out of everything that I went through on that transmission, the reverse band was the only thing that was almost down to metal on metal contact. And so I'm I'm kind of trying to figure out if there's something, pre-existing condition with that transmission why it's wiping out the reverse bands to begin with. Um, I'm still working on that. So I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, I'm waiting on parts. And hopefully they should be here middle of the week. Hopefully next week, next weekend, I'll have it back together and we'll try it again. But with that being said, every time I'm doing this, I'm learning so much. I have no choice but to learn. I ain't got the money to have somebody else fix it for me or to get another transmission. And I'm also finding out with this transmission, I have some questions. They'll go up on the videos I'm going to show you on the parts in it. I am I am not sure that this transmission hasn't been worked on before. 270,000 miles, 32 years old. It may have been touched. I don't know. When I was taking it apart, I didn't know enough about them to know. But with the grease and the way everything was bolted together and the looks of the just the gaskets and everything looked stock and it looked like it hadn't been touched. But it might not have been touched for 15 years. 15 years ago, somebody might have rebuilt that transmission or put a different one in, is kind of what I'm thinking, because there's a lot of stuff that's not quite matching up with what should be in that truck. And I'll go into detail on that later on my next videos here, showing me fixing this last mishap. And maybe a lot of you guys, when you get back from No Name Nationals, you can pipe in and I can pick your brains on it and you can give me some information. Like I said, this is a learning experience. This is what I do on my channel. Again, I don't try to teach anyone how to do things. I try to show them how not to do things and the trouble I go through, so you don't have to go through it if you're in a similar situation with a similar project. But anyway, with that being said, it's always good to learn something, and it's frustrating as well. But and trust me, as much I have the greatest respect for all these content creators that do their projects and they take the time to actually make very good quality videos. I don't have the time or patience to do that. When you're making a video about a project you're doing, it doesn't take you twice as long to do that project. It takes you about 4 times as long just to do the project itself. And then it takes you twice as long to do the editing and then post the videos and everything. It's really a lot of work, and hats off to these guys that take it seriously and do the best job they can. Um, I actually just do it as a hobby. I do it because I like it. I have fun, and yes, I do try to throw some information out there. And like I said, if I'm fortunate enough to show you the proper way or at least a good way to do something, that's a bonus. But mostly, a lot of this too is to also give a little bit of support. If you're at home, you're like, well, I don't have $1 million worth of tools. I don't have the space or right setup. You don't always need it. You don't always go out and try it. Try it. And as far as mechanics go, some of it I enjoy, but honestly, I enjoy woodworking more than I do working on the automotive side of it. Unfortunately, because my vehicles are all around over 25 years old, I spend a lot of time working on them. Um, it's also one of the reasons why I have older vehicles, because I can work on them. Not that I'm really that good, but I can keep them going, and the new vehicles, one, I can't see spending. My first house cost me $60,000. Okay. I can't see spending 50, 60, 70 or more $1,000 on a vehicle that in 5 years is going to be worth 20,000, you know. and I can't see even spending $20,000 on a vehicle that in is going to need $10,000 worth of work within the first year. And by the time you pay that ten or $20,000 off, um, you're going to have a $5,000 vehicle. It's just to me, I'm still. You got to remember, I'm old. I know how my parents feel. I used to laugh at my mom when she would when I was a teenager, and she would give somebody $5 and think that was a lot of money. I understand that because in her mind it was a lot of money. Um, in reality, no, no. In reality, for that time, it wasn't a lot of money. That's like nowadays, if somebody gives you $50, to me, that's a decent amount of money. That's a decent chunk of change. $50 nowadays, I mean, that might buy you lunch for the week. Back in the day, that would get me lunch for the week. That would put gas in my vehicle, probably give me at least a half a tank, if not a full tank. And I might even have some money for some beer. All that for $50, depending on which decade we're talking about, how long ago it is. I'm kind of stuck in the 90s myself. So even in the 90s, $50 would last me a couple weeks, or I could, blow it on a bunch of stuff as long as I stayed out the bars and, you know, the strip clubs and stuff like that. Bucks went a long way, comparatively speaking. Today I could buy a couple packs of cigarettes, some beer. Mm, yeah, that's probably about it. Maybe something off the dollar menu at McDonald's. That's about it. But anyway, um, times change, inflation goes up, prices change. Stuff happens. No big deal. That's to be expected. And I'm not complaining, mind you. It just that's the way things go. That's life, and that ain't gonna change a whole lot. So we do the best we can, and like I said, that's why I like doing these videos and everything. Help people out that are in, you know, don't have access to a lot of tools, a lot of expensive stuff. They can't afford to have somebody else do something for them. Um, so give it a shot yourself. All right, Tony. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you showing up. Yeah, Chris is at work today. So again, I'm left unsupervised this morning. I'm behaving. I'm having coffee. Yes, my second cup. I don't need any more coffee. Good Lord. Um, but anyway, uh, like I said, I hope everyone's having fun that went. Got a chance to go. I hope you all having fun at No Name Nationals. Big shout out to everyone there. Uh, Damien, first responder garage. I know you're up there. Oh my God, Mofar Al. Or, I know I'm gonna screw it up. That's why I'm not gonna name anyone else. But y'all know who I'm talking about. So everybody, I hope you're having fun. I'm looking forward to your videos. I want to see that. Hopefully next year I'll be able to go. Yeah, and it was like I was talking to Damien from First Responder Garage last week. Also, hopefully next year, even if my I become a YouTube star here, and my channel has 50 million subscribers and everything, you all still let me go. So just to prevent that from happening, I'm going to keep my content and everything the same because I don't want to get too big for my britches, and I still want to be able to make it to No Name Nationals. But but anyway, today, oh yeah, today. Speaking of that transmission, today I'm going to go back out in the shed. It's a little bit overcast. We're going to get some rain, but it is a nice day. It's comfortable. So I'm going to go out in the shed. I'm going to clean out the valve body because unfortunately, that reverse band, all the lining on it just disintegrated. So I had a transmission full of for an example, anyone that's ever done brakes before, the brake pads or brake shoes, the lining that's on that, the asbestos is, they've changed it, but old guys still call it asbestos. All that lining that's on there, well, that just turned into dust. And I know it's semi-metallic on this because it was all stuck to the magnet in the bottom, along with some sparklies from the reverse drum because it got some good grooves in it. So I got to flush everything out, clean everything up. That includes the valve body. I want to make sure nothing's in there. Same with the coolant lines on the that go through the radiator. And I have a jar where I can plug one of the lines into the jar, fill the jar with solvent or transmission fluid, and then pressurize it with my air compressor, and that blows fluid all through the system. Then I'll have a bucket for the return line, and that'll just flush the whole system out. Um, I have the same thing but smaller for the brake system. Does the same thing, only the small one is a hand pump. This one I'll use my air compressor, just a lot bigger volume going through there. Excuse me. But anyway, that's the plan for this week. Sometime in the middle of the week, I'll be getting the parts that I need. Uh, another part, another part I'm a little bit concerned about, and I might see if I can drop this off at my friend's transmission shop, see what he has for a recommendation. And that is the torque converter, because I don't know how much crap got in the torque converter, and you know, uh, $240 a pop. I can't be buying those all the time. Not only that, but you wouldn't believe how hard it was to find the correct torque converter for the mission. This is why I'm wondering if somebody else was in here before. For a simple fact that the old torque converter that was on it, now it seems fine, but I was told it's a good practice to replace the torque converters, irregardless. A lot of these places just do it without, you know, without thinking about it. It's something automatic that they do. But this one here, the numbers, nobody could match up the numbers that were on it. I actually had to take measurements. Um, and I know it was a non-lockup. That's for sure. It's non-lockup. I only have one solenoid on this transmission, and that's for the overdrive. And hey guys, what are you doing? Pardon me for a second. Um, babysitting my daughter's dogs, her fur babies, while she went to San Francisco, out to California for something. I don't know. I showed up Friday and they were here. I didn't know anything about it, but let me go see what their problem is because they're being annoying. I will be right back. Oh, good Lord. I'm sorry. Anyway, pardon me. Yeah, yeah. Hi, Ren. Hey, little girl. Yeah, guys, I'm here. If you're missing somebody, come out here and visit me. Um. Anyway, yeah, that torque converter. I had to measure everything on it in order to find one that matched, and I also needed a low stall torque converter because it's truck, and I need the all my power and what I use it for is through a very low RPM range. It's basically from idle to honestly about 3,000, 3,600 RPM is my normal everyday operating range. Very rarely does that thing ever see 4 grand, 4,000 RPM or above. But anyway, yeah, that was something. And this reverse drum that I had to order, uh, looking for the reverse drum in the A518, 727 overdrive transmission. Uh, the ones I found, they're they say they're for an RH. I have a 46 RH overdrive, but the ones I found, they're showing for a 46 RE. I don't know if it's an upgrade. It has a lip on it. I'll show that in my actual videos. But for an A518, now on the manuals and everything, it shows the one that I have in there. But online and any place else I looked for when I put in A518, it shows one for an upgraded one. It's one with a lip on it. Now, if I go to a 727, it shows exactly what I have in this transmission. So I'm going to try that because that was also $54. The other ones are up around $100. So I'll give it a shot, see what happens. Um, I'm just trying to match what's already in there because I don't know if the new design makes a difference. And again, I'll go through all that. This is what's going through my mind now. I didn't mean to talk about this, but it's what's going through my mind at the moment. And it's coming out, and the dogs are distracting. I have all sorts of excuses. But anyway, I'm also procrastinating about going in there and working on this transmission because I am so tired of it. I've been doing this since June, in, out of the truck, put it together, take it apart, try and figure this out and that out. But I have the time, sort of. I can afford to take the time to do it. What I can't afford is money out of my pocket to have somebody else do it or to get a rebuilt transmission. So far out of pocket, I've got, well, right now with these new parts, I'm right at $900. Um, the cheapest transmission I found, and this is out of a junkyard in my area, was $1,200, and there was no guarantee it would work or it didn't need to be rebuilt. Rebuilt transmission, they were, my God, they were running right 32 to 3,800. To have this one rebuilt was running right around the same price. I think it was 3,600. It was quoted to me to take it to a shop and have them do all the heavy work, pull the transmission out, and probably just put a rebuilt transmission back in it. Would have been around five. All of that is I can't justify doing it for a $1,500 truck. Um, Even though this is my daily driver, and yes, I have another $4,000 engine that I built. That was the same deal. Um, the engine that I built, yeah, I could have bought a stock rebuilt engine at the time for around 3,800. But what I built was not stock. Um, and I called around. I called around to 4 different places, and basically told them what I wanted, and which is basically what I had already built, everything in it. I mentioned all the parts, and everything. The lowest quote I got was $9,000. and this was 2 years ago. So for what I built, what I have $4,000 in, to have somebody professionally build the engine for me would have been $9,000. Now, the good thing is, if anything happened to it, it's under warranty. Bad thing is, try to prove it wasn't my fault. Try to prove I used the right oil. I didn't over rev it. This, that, and the other thing. That can be a pain in the butt, too. Not to mention shipping it back and forth because there's nobody local that will touch that thing or build it the way I wanted it built. So I did it myself. Another question that's come up, since I have the transmission out and the truck's been sitting this long, why don't I go ahead and put the engine in? I want to make sure the transmission is done right first. So I know the engine that's in there, although it's old and tired, it's working properly. There's nothing I have to mess around with the engine. I'm sorry, I just thought of something. I forgot when I pulled the transmission out. I don't remember if I took my oil sending unit off, and the problem with that is it's on the back of the engine, and so when the engine dips down, it has a tendency to bust it. That might be another $35 piece I have to buy. I think I took it off. Yeah, never mind. I remember I took it off. Sorry. But like I was saying, there's nothing wrong with this engine that's in there other than it's old and tired, pretty much wore out. But it starts, it runs, and it does great. So I don't have to worry about the engine. So I'm going to get the transmission done first. Make sure that is right. Make sure that is all set. Then, once I don't have to worry about the transmission or anything else on the drivetrain, then I'll pull the old engine out, put the new engine in. Because one of the things, a lot of people that already do this, they know, no matter, even I had this problem even with my old Ford when I changed out a stock engine for another actual brand new old stock engine, not a rebuilt, not anything else. It was a brand new engine. It'd just been sitting for 10 years in a warehouse. I mean, not even in somebody's yard. It took me about 2 months to work all the bugs out of that brand new engine as well. Part of that, too, was some of the brand new parts. Even back then, this is 18 years ago. Some of the brand new parts right out of there, distributor comes to mind, was bad out of the friggin' box. So this stuff we've been dealing with is just, it's been going on for a while. But anyway, so it takes you a little while to work out all the little bugs and everything. Sometimes you might forget to plug this one wire in, or you don't realize that you busted the wire when you change and the engine's over. All sorts of things happen. And the engine I'm putting in there, again, is not stock. It's gone back to carburetor instead of throttle body fuel injection. So that means that's not too big of a deal. But the fuel system, the electric fuel pump that's in the tank, has too much pressure. So I have to get I'm going to get a flow through pressure regulator for it. Drop the pressure down. Not only that, but I'm also running, a mechanical fuel pump as well, which the original engine did not have. And that means plumbing some more lines from the fuel tank to the fuel pump, then to the carburetor. Now, I'm not running both at the same time. The carburetor does have 2 inlets for fuel feed, one on the right side, one on the left. But I will have an either or, just like they do on aircraft. I used to work on aircraft as well, and they have what they call electric booster pumps on them. And you don't have to run them all the time. It's going to be similar to that, similar to the way the aircraft fuel system works. Mostly my main fuel will come off the mechanical pump, but this gives me a backup in case one or the other fails on me. The other thing that I'm going to have to change is the ignition, the distributor. I already have a new distributor. It's a simple 2-wire hookup distributor because the computer basically I'm bypassing the brain box that's on this truck. It's the third one I've had in there, and they're getting hard to find, and you can't get ones. They're all manufactured. And anyway, they're getting expensive too. So I'll keep it as a backup, but uh, right now I just want to kind of eliminate it. And so that also operates, the ignition. So I have a new distributor and it's set up, and it's all self-contained. I don't even need a ballast resistor, which Mopar is famous for. And everybody blames everything electronic for the ignition on the ballast resistor. That's not always the case, but a lot of times it is. Um, the other thing is the alternator. Voltage regulator is controlled by the computer, the brain box. But I'll tell you this much: the alternator that's in this truck, it's a '92, is the same part number as what was in the 1972, I think, 73. Anyway, for those years, they used the same alternator. It never had an internal voltage regulator on it. And there are several different styles and types of external voltage regulators that plug right into that alternator. So that's not a big deal. The last thing it operates is the overdrive on the transmission. And that is just because of the speed sensor for the, instead of a cable operated system, it still has the same plug in to the overdrive unit, the same gears and everything. It's just that now it has a little electronic piece on it, sends electronic signal to your speedometer, and it goes through the computer. And when it hits a certain speed, then it sends the signal to the solenoid to say, okay, you can go into fourth gear. That's not a big deal since I have an RH, hydraulically operated overdrive. Um, I can use the solenoid actuator. I forgot. I'm going to have to look it up again, but I've seen it done and they say it works great. And basic goes back to analog. It goes back to just using the pressure that builds up in the transmission and when to change to overdrive. So you don't need the computer or anything. There's also other ways. I can put a simple toggle switch in and boom. Uh, I have overdrive. I don't have to worry about a lockup torque converter. This one doesn't have it. Anyway, so long way around babbling about why I'm not putting a new engine in yet. There's also some fabrication that needs to be done and simple things you don't think about until you're sitting there going, well, the engine runs great, but the truck's not working. Okay, why? Well, I got to fabricate uh, and figure out simple throttle linkage from the gas pedal to the carburetor. Carburetor sits different. All right. And I might have to adjust that so that I make sure I have full open throttle, full closed throttle. I don't want to be going down the street with my foot on the floor and only have half throttle, or take my foot off and the damn thing's still a quarter open and I'm sitting there idling at 2,500 RPMs. The other thing is too, because it's an automatic, Dodge especially, that damn kick down for the transmission. Okay, that right now I have a 2-piece solid rod system. I might have to go to cable. I don't know how well it's going to connect to the carburetor. So that's something that I'll have to play around with and figure out. And I'm not a good fabricator, so it's just little things like that I'll have to figure out. The wiring. Okay, just because I know all these systems I can bypass the computer with, I still want to make sure all my gauges and lights and everything work in the truck, and that When I turn the key, all the systems that are supposed to operate when I turn the key on are operating. So there's going to be some wiring I have to figure out. I don't really want to sit there. I will if I have to, but I don't want to sit there with a little box full of toggle switches where I turn on and off each system that I've bypassed. I really, that'd be cool if I was building a Batmobile or something, but no, it's a daily driver pickup truck. The other thing is too, honestly, I want to start this engine up and make sure everything is fine with this engine before I even put it in the truck. I don't want to throw it in the truck and try to start it and it won't start, and then try to figure it out. Or take it like the transmission, take it down the road 500 miles, and all of a sudden something blows up on it, or something lets go, or something breaks. I want to set up a run stand, get this thing started, and run it for a while. I don't have to worry about breaking in the cam. It's a roller cam, so not worried about that. I do have to seat the rings in the pistons, in the cylinders. And the thing is, I went with Molly rings, and they take almost 3 times as long to wear in and seat. But I'd like to do that so that when I finally put this engine in the truck, it'll be turnkey and go. That's the plan. And of course, if you've watched any of my videos from beginning to end, you know that ain't going to work out. I know it's not going to work out, but I'm going to try my best. We'll see how that goes. And the other thing is too, this channel, my channel, I deal with other things other than just automotive. It's what I have to take care of right now. That's why I'm spending so much time and so much content on the truck and the transmission and all this other stuff, because I mean, that's what I have to try and figure out and get done. But hopefully next weekend or so, I'll have that transmission back in and it'll work this time and it'll be fine. Fingers crossed. Once that is done, we're going to start getting into the colder weather, into winter, where I'm definitely not going to be wanting to work on the truck out in my driveway. So I do have plenty of other projects that I really need to do that will be great for winter time inside. So I'm also going to get back to some cast iron for those of you that are interested in the cast iron. I got 3 pans I have to strip down and reseason, and a few of them are kind of interesting. Cooking too. I got a lot of stuff. I need to get back to so those that are interested in cooking. I got some recipes. I got some stuff that I want to make, and video making it so I can pass these recipes on. Let everyone try. Now, understand recipes, and the way I've always looked at it, that's a good start. If you've never made it before, okay, it's a guide. Follow the recipe the first time you make something, and that's fine. But then you add your own seasonings or amounts to it to customize it to the way you like it. So yeah, I just and you have to forgive me too. A lot of times I don't just tell you, all right, you need a cup of this, or you need a teaspoon or a tablespoon of that. A lot of times I just go by the smell, the taste, the feel, the sound too when I'm cooking. I use all my senses when I'm cooking because I'm not a trained chef. I'd say I'm a decent cook, but that's about it. I'm just a regular guy. I'm a friggin' truck driver, just doing the best I can. But that's the other thing too. Just if I can do it, just about anyone else can. So you want to try something? Go ahead, give it a shot. Try something. Don't be afraid to try something. Um, oh yeah, and I have some more woodworking projects, and I guess through some feedback, because if you watch a lot of my woodworking stuff, 90% of the time I will show you what I start with and then what I end with. I don't show you a whole lot in the middle. And I've explained this before. One, I enjoy working with wood. And when you're videoing anything that you do, boy, that takes a lot of time and effort. And also during that time, too, it just, for me, a lot of times it takes some of the enjoyment out of it. Um, but I'll do better, and I'll try and actually record and video the process, some of the things I do with the woodworking. And again, I am not a master carpenter. I don't have all the proper tools or techniques to do a lot of things. And since I haven't really been doing certain things too, it's easy for me to forget. But I will try to show you the process and some of my thinking and ways to do stuff, especially for those of you that don't have a lot of woodworking tools. You can still make nice stuff that looks good and functions the way it's supposed to without having $50,000 worth of tools. Um, so yeah, something I'll try to get back to and do a little bit better job. Oh, and we're coming up on Halloween. Thanksgiving will be here shortly. After that, Halloween here at my place at Sidewinder Shed has always been one of the more fun and we usually have a big Halloween get together, um, friends, family, whatever, and we usually have a good time. It's uh, it's something that the wife especially and everyone here they look forward to. They love decorating for Halloween and all this stuff, and we usually have a great time. And so maybe I'll have definitely have some pictures. Um, Maybe I'll throw up some videos. I don't know. It depends. I don't like putting anyone in the videos that don't doesn't want to be there, you know. But Thanksgiving is the other big one, and most of that I will be making some videos of, and that goes back to the cooking. Um, Stuffed mushrooms, homemade turkey gravy. Um, if my niece will let me, I'll record how she makes her potatoes because she does a wonderful job on them. And the wife with the turkey, she spends quite a bit of time on the turkey, and it comes out so good. And this is just baked in the oven. But my nephew Kenny, he's done the deep fried turkey. I love them both. So and also um, I like the dark meat on the turkey. So the more turkeys we cook, the more dark meat I get. So I have no problem doing 2 or 3 turkeys. I really don't. Not only that, but all the drippings on the ones done in the oven. That means I get to make more of my homemade gravy, and which I have yet over 20 years, ever since I made the mistake of making it the first time. I've been forced to make the gravy every Thanksgiving, and over 20 years, I have not had a problem with making too much gravy. It's been exactly the opposite. We usually run out of the gravy And I mean, I made a half a gallon one time, and that was gone. We had plenty of leftovers, except for the gravy. So, yeah, I'm not kidding you when I say I have yet to make too much gravy. I have yet to make enough gravy. So, yeah, something uh, I can say, that seems everyone likes, which is cool. That and stuffed mushrooms. Stuffed mushrooms are a big hit. So I'll be showing that, and I don't mind giving my secrets away or anything because I'm getting old, and that's a lot of work cooking. So if somebody says, "Hey, I used your recipe and I added this to it, or I changed a little bit, and I think they're better than yours," perfect, perfect. Here you go, little grasshopper. You are now the master. You can make the stuffed mushrooms every friggin' year, or you can make the gravy every year. I'll sit here with the rest of the guys instead of in the kitchen. I'll sit out here with the ball game on, watching the ball game and sucking down the beers. I have no problem with that. I have no ego. Matter of fact, it feels great that I taught you how to do something and it turns out better than what I do it. That's awesome. I have no problem with that because, again, that means I get more free time. Yay. Um, but yeah, those are some of the things I have planned for, well, I hope to get to this year. But anyway, and like I said, I'm just kind of babbling. This is Sunday morning. I know nobody was expecting me to be on. Uh, Glad Tony showed up, and I know, Philip the Third, you're going to be upset. I don't know why these notifications don't come out, but I don't know. Anyway, speaking of Philip the Third, sent me a homemade board game. Cool. Thank you so much, sir. And no, I haven't had a chance to finish it up yet because the shed, which it doubles as my wood shop and my automotive shop, and right now it's set up for automotive. And one, I don't want to get any grease or anything like that on this board game that you sent me, and two, I don't want to get sawdust or anything else mixed in to the transmission. It's already got enough crap in it anyway. But right now, even though it's a small um, travel game, honestly, half the tools that I'm going to need to use and my workbenches are all covered in transmission parts and fluid. And so, yeah, I'll get to it when I get this transmission all squared away. But thank you so much for sending it to me. I really appreciate it. That was awesome, my friend. That is really awesome. And to plug his channel, Philip the Third, um, he will be having, or he said he made a video and is going to be putting up a video on how the game is played. So, anyone that's interested, check his channel out. I wish I had a link. I wish I knew how to put up a link. I really don't. But God, it's only been a month or two since I figured out how to do that. Add somebody's comments, and it's not that hard. You click over to the right, you highlight it, and it says show, or let's see, go over here. It says show, and it pops up. Everyone can read it, or it says hide. Yeah, it took me a year to figure that out. So I'm not that tech savvy anymore. But anyway, um, I'll get things figured out here. But that was kind of a rundown on what I'd like to do on my regular channel and in my videos. Hey, Philip, there you are, buddy. I was just talking about you, my friend. I literally just got through talking about you and thanking you for sending that game and everything. And man, I'm glad you found me this morning. I was also bitching about the notifications. Nobody seems to be getting them. Of course, that's my fault. I can't schedule everything. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I was giving you props. I was trying to promote your channel. Um, Matter of fact, if it's possible, if you know how to do it, that was one of my complaints. I haven't figured it out yet. But if you know how to put up a link to your channel, you do it on any of my videos as well. In the comment section, feel free to put a link to your channel there, sir. Oh yeah, I'd love to have you come on, my friend, because I've been sitting here just babbling to myself. My friend Tony was on for a little bit. Somebody else was watching, but I've pretty much almost covered every topic that was in my head that I wanted to get out this morning. And I'm kind of grasping for content at the moment. So yeah, you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you, sir. I haven't had a chance to spend any time talking to you for a while, so that would be great. That would be great. That would be a great thing, man. And again, I was actually thanking you for that game that you sent me, and also explaining why I haven't done anything with it just yet. The shed is a mess. It's all set up for working on that transmission. So all my workspaces and everything right now is covered either in transmission parts or transmission oil. And I don't want to cross contaminate the board game or the transmission, you know, with the mess that everything would make. And I just, that's the problem with only having the one shed. When I'm done working on automotive stuff, I have to clean all that up and put everything away, automotive related, and then get the woodworking stuff out and set that up. I don't have two separate rooms. And also, I'm terrible about cleaning up after myself. So, if it's a big project like this transmission's turned out to be, I got crap all over the place. I tried cleaning it up. I had it 80% looking nice when I put the transmission in and thought it was done, and put the camper on and put those 500 miles on the transmission. Yeah, I was in the middle of getting over there, getting everything squared away. Um, I don't know, Philip. I don't think there's a lot of people getting the notification on these live streams, but again, maybe I'll spend some time trying to figure it out and see. It's probably something I'm doing wrong. It's probably that, and I should make sure that these live streams I get the notifications out, because I'm right. I'm that close to getting on here and getting some money, a little bit of monetization. I had the I had plenty of view hours, um, and because you are eligible to join the YouTube partnership program at 500 subscribers, but you still need what was it, 3,000 watch hours. I got everything else, and 2 months ago, before I had the 500, or right before I had the 500 viewers, I had over 4,000 watch hours for the year. But unfortunately, those big videos that everyone liked to watch, well, it's dropped down to 1,800 watch hours now. So yeah, I got another 1,200 watch hours I gotta come up with. But anyway, All right, Philip, there you are.
Yep,
Well,
I'm
added.
here.
Good morning, sir.
Let me turn this. Hold on a second. Let me turn this down.
All righty.
So what's going on?
Oh, just out here today, Sunday, just actually procrastinating.
Yeah, me too.
I figured the wife's at work, so I'm left unsupervised.
Uh oh. Uh
Yep.
oh. Yeah.
And I can't do anything more with the transmission right now till I get the
Yeah.
new parts in. So
Yeah.
actually, I
That's the same.
could. I
Same
could be
here.
out. Yeah, I could be out there in the shed cleaning up
Yeah.
the valve body again, but I just don't feel like it.
I'm trying to get to the power steering pump on this Pontiac.
Ooh, okay.
So,
Is that one of the ones that's on the bottom?
uh, yeah, it's on the bottom. It's a front wheel drive car with a V6, and the
Oh, yeah.
problem is, here's a funny story. Uh, the The problem is you can't get to the you can't get a you got to get the well I thought you have to get the pulley off to get to the bolts to hold the pump to the engine block, right?
Yep.
So I buy this pulley puller and I'm up in here trying to get that pulley puller to work, but because it's transverse mounted, you just there's just not enough working room there, right?
Yep.
And then I noticed that the manufacturer put a hole in the pulley just big enough for you to be able to stick a socket through. So you don't need the
The
puller anyway,
puller. Yep. Yep.
to get it off. So I can't get it off. I just made that discovery, and I was going to sit down and take a smoke break and look at my phone, and that's when I saw you was on. So I thought I'd sit down and
I got you. You froze up there for a second, buddy. Matter of fact, you still froze up. There you are. You're back.
yeah.
You froze up for a minute. Um,
Apparently, when I squat down behind the car, that's just enough interference to block the Wi-Fi.
I got you. I understand. I understand. And I mean, sometimes here, and I got the strongest friggin'. I can't give you the numbers, but I got the best Wi-Fi they offer in my area,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'm real close to the what do you call it? The router.
The router, right?
Okay, and so I should have a great signal and everything, but
Hmm.
every now and then, um, it does the same thing. It'll pop in, pop out, and I'm like, why?
Yeah,
Why
yeah,
am I paying over $100 for the top of the
yeah,
line that they offer here,
yep,
and I still can't rely on it? All
yeah,
right, and do I get you know do I get 20 or $30 off per month because it didn't work for 2 or 3 days, or it didn't give me 100% of what it's supposed to for a few hours? Nope, nope.
right.
But
Well, I tell you what, I've had that. I've had service interruptions,
yep,
and I'll get them on the phone, and I'll give them hell. I'll tell them, look, it's illegal for you to bill customers for services that you never rendered.
yep,
You know, and I, if my service is interrupted for a day or a week or whatever it is, by God, they're going to credit my account, and they do.
oh,
So
do
I ain't going
they?
to let them get away with it.
Problem is, every time I've tried to call them, do something like that,
Yeah,
can't get a hold of a real person.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then
They're
for
they're
whatever
all doing that anymore.
Yeah, and then for whatever reason, when I do, "Oh, yeah, well, let me transfer you," and boop,
Yeah.
they drop the call, and I'm
I
kinda,
I was
"Alright,
getting
I
a
know."
I was getting a prescription medication that way, through like mail order,
Yep,
online kind of stuff. And
yep,
and you can't get a hold of anybody, You can't get a hold of anybody to end your subscription or to reinstate it or do anything,
right,
You can't shut it off. So what it was is, and the reason why I needed to get a hold of them is because they upped the price to like 3 times more than what I was paying all of a
yep,
sudden, and I couldn't afford it. So, and I tried everything in the book to try to get a hold of these people and tell them I need to cancel my prescription, and I couldn't get a hold of anybody. So what I ended up doing was I actually had to take my card that it's being charged on and have the card discontinued,
Oh
and then a
God, yeah.
new card issued,
Issued. Yep.
and then I had to go around and uh, contact all the other creditors that debit from that card
Yep.
too, and had to start it all over again just because of one company that they don't want to be bothered talking to you on the phone.
Yeah,
You know?
I bet you got notice and you got a call when that bill wasn't getting paid. I bet you they got a
Nope,
hold of you real quick. They didn't?
nope,
They just
nope,
stopped?
nope. And that's just it. I know that they're aware of the fact that I was trying to make contact with them,
Yep.
and they were choosing to ignore that. They deliberately set up these barriers,
Yep.
that prevent you from being able to contact anybody directly. Yeah, I think we lost one another again.
Yeah, just for a little bit. I mean, you're coming in and out. I can hear you, but I can't see you moving. I can still your voice is coming through.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. I'm noticing that. I'm still. Let me see what I can do here.
oh, there you
See
go.
what I can. I can't do nothing.
A- At
Let
least
me
it
clear
wasn't a
some
bad
things
picture
out.
of you. Hey, while you're doing that, give me a second because I wanna refill my coffee cup. Where am I? Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Hey,
wanna
that sounds
refill
like
my
a good
coffee.
idea.
Alrighty,
Let me see
give
if
me a
I got
second.
any warm coffee yet myself.
Okay.
Oops. Nope, no warm coffee. Huh. Yeah, the thing is sure slow. I don't see on here anywhere where it's showing how many people are on right now. Of course, I'm on that StreamYard, so I don't know. I can't see anything other than you and me.
Oh, I gotcha.
I was just trying to fill airtime there while you was gone.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you, thank you. So, how you been doing? Like I
Why?
said, the last couple times you've been on has been, "Hey, Philip, how you doing? I gotta go." You
Yeah,
know?
guy cut me off.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. But this morning,
Uh,
I got time.
yeah. Well, what I'm doing this morning is I got a yard sale going, and I've got my yard sale signs out. I got to go about a half a mile away just to get out to the highway
Oh yeah.
and put my signs out at the highway, and then I got about four more signs that just direct them back here to the house. Because you're taking them through the backwoods down a dead end road kind of thing.
Oh, I understand that.
You
My nephew's place is like that too. Literally,
but
it's 3/4 of a mile from his
yeah,
house to the street, and that's not even a main street. That's a secondary, tertiary road
yeah,
actually. And they got their quad bikes and a few other modes of transportation because we're all
right.
getting up there in age. They don't want to walk a mile and a half just to get the freaking mail.
Well, that's like me. I don't even. I mean, it's a pretty good sized piece of property,
Yeah,
and I got to walk 500 feet just to get to the mailbox.
yeah. Well, like I said, their
This will give you an
mailbox.
idea. Let's see if we can. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
there's all the yard sale stuff, and the
yep,
driveway just keeps on going. You know,
yep.
there's a little dogleg bend in the driveway way out there, and then you still got to go another 200 feet from there. But uh, yeah, this is what I'll do. I just get on the old Sears Craftsman lawn tractor,
Oh, there you go.
ride that around. The
There you
seat,
go.
the original seat went bad on me, so I just went and got a patio chair and bolted the patio chair to it. You see,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, man.
so
That's cool.
I got me some bar lug tires on it now.
Yep,
And with it being green and yellow wheels, people are accusing me of trying to make it look like a John Deere.
yep. I gotcha.
And,
I gotcha.
But yeah, so that was what my plan was, is to get out the yard sale signs, try to attract some people in here, and in the meantime, I'll get out there and work on that Pontiac. That's just about all I've been up to. About that board game, was my video good enough for you?
I looked for it. I have not seen the video yet. Of course, I got
Oh, you
distracted.
haven't?
Yeah, no, I have not, sir. I'm sorry about that. That was the other thing I
Hmm.
mentioned earlier in the live stream too, that you had posted a video about it because I was talking about the board game
Uh huh.
and everything. But no, I haven't,
Yeah.
and I apologize for that. Like I said, trying to deal with this transmission again for the fourth
Yeah.
month now, and like fifth time pulling that damn thing in and out. Although I'm getting real good at it, I can do it in about 45 minutes now.
Yeah.
Tearing it apart. I literally it took me a half hour yesterday to tear the guts out of it, and then I spent
Yeah.
another hour crying over the damage that was done to it, and then I spent another 3 hours trying to find the parts to fix it. Order the parts.
Uh huh.
Yeah, that'll be in another video I upload all so I can show all the problems and everything. I'm thinking the more I get into this transmission and try to figure out what was going on with it, I'm really thinking. See, at first I thought this transmission had never been touched. I thought it was the original.
Uh
All
huh.
right, but the more I get into it, and the more I find some odd things about it, like the torque converter and now this reverse drum and everything. Uh, Pieces and parts are not matching up with the nomenclature.
Uh
Uh,
huh.
it kind of looks like somebody took an older um, 727 three-speed transmission, converted it to an A518,
Okay.
and put it back in the truck, which is possible. The truck is 32 years
Yeah.
old. It was owned
Yeah.
by a couple of mechanics before I got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just looking at some of the things, to include that, the transfer case on it too. It has a very different yoke on the back than what it's called for a W250.
Right.
It's got the yoke on the back um, for like oh a Ram Charger instead of a
Uh-huh.
W250. It's got the smaller yoke. And the drive shaft on it, because it's a sliding drive shaft, with two yokes
Yeah.
instead just the
Carrier.
tube that flies in.
Right.
Well, that comes apart. So I think what they did was they put the front end from a Ram Charger onto the drive shaft. I think it was also, the drive shaft has been modified.
Hmm.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm not 100% sure. Like I said, this is just stuff that's not adding up. I can't.
Right.
And I've looked at several different actual factory manuals and stuff for this, and I'm like, all right, well, what I have matches for the Ram Charger. What I'm supposed to have,
Yeah.
it's not right. It's different.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's different, and
Well, that sounds to me like you would have had a problem right from the beginning, even if you had went and gotten a new transmission.
yeah.
Because you would have had a problem with the maybe with the transfer case bolting up or something
Well,
like that, or it might change the location of the transfer case, which would then start creating interference with maybe with the mounts or putting it changing the length of your drive shafts or whatever.
yeah.
You
I
just
don't
never
know. I'm
know.
not sure, but you know what? I do know that you can, because I've seen several videos. Because it was in my mind. And
Yeah.
I've seen several where they have, modified a 727 three-speed to accept the, 46RE now instead of the 46RH.
Which is a 4 speed, right?
Yeah, that's the overdrive. So I
Right.
know it can be done, and the more I look at this transmission, because, one of the things here, my low reverse drum on the transmission,
Uh-huh.
it's not what it's showing for a 46RH or a 46RE. it's for a 727.
Huh.
Okay, so I I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know enough to say this is exactly what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. I couldn't help you there either because I mean I have got absolutely zero time in elbow deep in any transmission. I've only had two transmission problems in my whole life. Um, and the last one was with my 2005 GMC truck. It was a 4L60E transmission, and they all go bad. And I wasn't going to bother
Yeah,
messing with it. It had over 150,000 miles on it. So I just called Powertrain Products. They send me out one. I put my old transmission back in their case and shipped it back to them to get my uh, core deposit back and threw that transmission up in there. In fact, on that 2005 GMC truck, it has a carrier bearing on the drive shaft.
yep. I've seen
Now,
those.
there's a shop just down the road from me here, uh, it, an automotive service center. And I just took the drive shaft to them and asked them to change out the carrier bearing, put in a new carrier bearing for me,
Yep.
because I just didn't feel like messing with it.
Oh yeah, I
And
understand.
and it, when I went to get the drive shaft back, they put the carrier bearing on backwards.
Oh Jesus. Yep.
But fortunately enough for me, it had slotted holes. So rather than it being like all the way forward, it's a
Right.
slotted hole and it being reversed, and now it's the other way.
Yep.
So it's still bolted right up. I didn't have a problem. And
I
I
got.
didn't care that the carrier bearing was backwards or not. I mean, in fact, I didn't notice that the carrier bearing was put on backwards until I went to put it up in the truck and noticed that the bolt holes weren't
Right.
lining up like they used to.
I gotcha.
But it bolted up, so I just went with it. I had
Yep.
them put a new carrier bearing and put new U joints in it. So
I gotcha. I gotcha.
yeah,
Yesterday, um, again, I was working on that transmission, and everybody right now, in the No Name Nationals, that's where they're at this
yeah,
weekend and everything.
yeah.
So I was trying to reach out to a few of the guys, to show them my problem and get some
Right,
input. Um,
right.
but they and nothing again. I'm hoping they're having fun. I was trying to make it this year myself, but obviously I couldn't. Transmission sitting in the shed, so I'm not going anywhere. But I did get a hold of Mopar Nut. Uh, Wealth of information. This guy is just awesome. As well, everybody in this community is awesome. They're just so damn
Mhm.
helpful. But
Yep, yep.
even he was sitting there scratching his head, going, "Yeah, what you're describing." I sent him pictures and
Mhm.
everything. He goes, "Yeah, this." He said, I can't really say for sure." He said, "But I have another transmission out here that's supposed to be a A518." He said, "I also have a 727." He said, "Just for my own curiosity," he said, "now you got me thinking, so I'm going to tear them apart and look at those reverse drums." He said,
Right.
"And if one matches," he said, "I'll send it to you. You just send,
Yeah.
you know, you pay for the shipping."
So what is your
Um,
status right
and
now?
I,
Then is you got the transmission back out and back apart again? Is that what your status
yes,
is?
yes, sir. Yep,
Okay.
yep,
Okay. Yeah, I
yeah.
was
What
just
happened?
gonna say the only other time that I ever had a transmission problem. This is kind of wacky. I had a 76, I think it was 76 Pontiac Ventura, which looks just like the Chevy Nova,
Yep.
and the transmission went out and it just burned up. And I'm looking on, in the marketplace, that kind of stuff. This is back in the days when they actually published little magazines of
Yes.
cars for
Yep.
sale and car parts
Yep.
and stuff like that. And there was a guy in there that had a turbo 350 transmission for a Buick. And I knew that Buicks will bolt right up to Pontiac engines, no problem.
Yep.
So I bought it from the guy. And I get back just to find out that Pontiac doesn't have a Pontiac engine in it. It had a Chevy engine in
Oh
it.
God. Oh man.
So and it wasn't going to just bolt right up. Plus, there was a difference in the length, which means I would have had to get in their drive shaft and everything else.
Yep.
But the guy that I got that transmission from, I told him, I says, look, this transmission isn't going to work for me. I says, can I bring it back to you? He's like, yeah, bring it back. I'll give you your money back. So he's being
Oh,
pretty cool.
that was cool, man. That's
And
awesome.
and I was working for a truck dealership, a GMC truck dealership. Where they sell the big trucks like
Yes, sir.
the Generals and the Brigadiers and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah.
And one of the mechanics there, he he moonlighted rebuilding transmissions, and he told me if I paid for the kit, which at that time was only a $50 kit,
Yep.
he would rebuild my transmission for $150.
Oh, cool.
So I paid him $150 to rebuild the transmission, $50 for the kit. I got the whole thing done for $200,
Oh, I gotcha.
and just put the new transmission in it. Just to uh, just for wintertime to come along and still having water in it. I didn't realize that I popped freeze plugs. Then of course, I
Oh
had an
God.
overheating problem,
Yep.
burned up that engine. So I just sold the car to a buddy of mine for like $300, and he put a hot little Chevy 350 motor in it, and that car never ran so damn good.
Yeah. Oh, I hear
So
you, man.
there's
It's
that story.
yeah, this yeah, like I said, this transmission's been giving me fits and everything, and I'm uh you know, because it is my first transmission, I don't have enough faith in myself to
Mhm.
say, "Hey, I did absolutely everything right." And so here's the problem. I can't say that. It's a very good possibility. Well, I know I got a hold of some bad parts. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind about that.
Mhm.
Um, and that was straight, brand new parts, straight out of the box. That is so frustrating, but okay. Um, the only other thing, and especially what has happened with this transmission this time right now, is that the reverse band, the little wedge that holds its piece about yay big,
Mhm.
that had fallen out. Don't know why. Talking to a few of the guys, they say, well, yeah, sometimes that will happen with the new band. Um, because they will expand, they will break in, they will loosen up and everything. It's like a 1 in 1,000 shot, but hey, that's the way my luck goes. But
Right.
or it could have
Yeah.
been because I had that damn thing in and out so many times and messing it. It's quite possible the last time I didn't have it seated properly. Very possible. But I put 500 miles on it with no problem.
Hmm.
And, a lot of that too was with the camper on it. And I really didn't back up a whole lot with the camper on it. Uh, but anyway, whatever reason, that wedge came out, okay, and the band got cocked. And I must have, well, what it did was it wore down the band, all the
Mhm.
friction material on the band till it
Right.
was metal on metal.
Yeah, I've seen them.
Which yeah, which of course wiped out the drum, my low and reverse drum. I mean, it's too far scored. I don't have a lathe, to try and bolt it on and smooth it out. I don't have any machinist that I know that would do that anyway.
Yeah.
So I have to replace the drum. Um, but it also brings to mind too, like I said, as I'm trying to get the parts, they're not matching up with what's supposed to be in that truck from the factory, from everything I can find. That could be, I've run into that before too with original parts, 15 years later, they don't show the original parts anymore. They show the upgraded parts in the manuals. And I'm like, and I've had two printed manuals side by
Yeah.
side, showing, no, this is what it originally came with, but now this is what you tell me to put in
Yeah.
because you don't know. So, and I don't know if
That's
that's the
why
deal.
it's that's why it was great. For years, I had all my dad's old Chilton
Yep.
manuals from cars from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and I held on to them for years and never really had to crack them open for any reason.
Yep.
And a lot of it is all outdated. That's for guys that's got all the old stuff. So, and there's a neighbor that lives just down the road from me here. he's into a lot of that. He's got a lot of the old stuff. So I just gave him all them manuals, and he appreciated it,
Oh my God, yeah.
So
Oh my God, yeah.
he's got
And
he's got the he's got an old like a he's got a 52 Chevy 3100 pickup truck that he's got all hot rodded out. That is a cool looking truck.
yeah.
He's got a blown 350 in it, and back in the day there was a kit that you could buy that they called low blows, which allowed you to put a blower on a Chevy 350 and still get everything under the hood.
Oh God, yeah.
So he has that, and they don't make those anymore. So even that's vintage stuff.
Yep.
Uh, and he also made the front end so the whole front end tilts up
Okay. Yep.
rather
I
than
got
just
you.
the hood. He's got
Yep.
the whole front end that tilts on it. That's pretty cool. And here's it's a cool looking truck. It just looks fantastic. It's show quality, and that's how good this guy is at building these things. Because that thing is piece parted together from all junkyard parts.
Oh,
He
good
actually
Lord.
has
Yeah.
an AMC Pacer front end underneath that 52 Chevy truck.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. And the bed on it, he couldn't find a bed that was in good shape, so he made his own bed. And of course, he's
Hmm.
got these big, huge, wide tires. It's done like
Yep.
pro street, so he had to make all of his own sheet metal for it. So he fabricated the bed out of just sheet metal and some exhaust pipe and some fiberglass fenders that you was able to buy, that were a little wider.
Oh
And he
yeah.
fabricated the whole thing. And then what's even cooler is he made it so that the bed would dump
Oh,
too.
okay. Yeah. Yep.
And what he did for making it dump is you've seen those hydraulic dent pullers and stuff that you see in
Yes.
body shops, those
Oh yeah.
hydraulic rams with a manual pump.
Yeah.
Well, he
Yeah.
took the manual pump and stuck it inside the cab behind the seat, and then he has a hydraulic ram going out to the bed, and he gets out of the truck and he flips
Yep.
the seat forward, gets in there and starts pumping
Just
on
pump.
that
Yeah.
jack
No
handle, and
kidding.
that's what dumps the bed.
No
It's
kidding.
just cobbled together from, I like the build because it's just cobbled together from just stuff. It was a low buck thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it
That's.
was an original 5 window with the curved glass in the corner,
Yep. Yep.
you know, and at the time when he was doing it, he couldn't find anybody that would remake that curved
Glass.
glass. No one
Yeah.
wanted to do that. So he put in Lexan glass and he made that himself. He had to make a form, like a mold, and
Yep.
shape that glass around the form and mold. And when he did it, it's so perfect, you can't tell that it is Lexan. It looks like curved glass, you know.
Yeah. I got you. I got you,
And
man.
he's got he also has a,
Like you're saying, that's the kind of stuff I like.
yeah,
Where you
yeah,
you grab the stuff that you have.
yeah,
Okay.
work with what you got.
Yeah. You don't
Yeah,
go to the shop. You
yeah.
don't go online. You don't go to a magazine. You get all these parts. I mean,
Mhm.
that's piecing parts together.
In fact, he he even fabricated his own headers for the
Oh,
thing
no kidding.
because he couldn't at the time of the build,
Yep.
which was in the early '90s. He couldn't find anything off the shelf that would go on a 350 that would fit through an AMC Pacer chassis.
Right. Right.
So but now he's found some. He found a custom set, and so now he's running regular headers, but he still hangs on to the original headers that he fabricated.
Yeah. It's a damn shame. Years ago, when I first got this truck and everything, and especially when I first started building the new engine for it, one of the problems I'm running into is finding a set of headers that would bolt on, clear the frame and everything, that are within my price range. Okay, yeah,
Right.
they have headers out there that are over $1,000 that bolt right on, no
Yeah.
problem. I got a $1,500 truck. I'm not spending a fucking $1,000 for headers on it. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I had a real good friend of mine. The man is just amazing with fabricating anything. And he's like, "Yeah, man, we can build a set of headers for you." He said, "Let me know." He said, "Matter of fact," he said, "I'll do it right now." Well, the engine is still stock and it's a smog engine. And so, and with the computer and the O2 sensors, all this, I just didn't want to mess with it. I wanted to wait till I got the new engine, which eliminates all that. All right. Unfortunately, man was in his 70s and COVID hit and it took him out.
Mm,
So that's,
yeah, that's too bad.
yeah, it is. It's a damn shame. And, not only that, but also just the knowledge, could ask him
Yeah,
anything,
yep, yep.
it just,
Yeah, it was a
all
great
that
luck.
knowledge is gone. And yeah, I've mentioned this several times. Now, I'm not that smart, okay? But especially as I'm getting older, I've noticed all my older friends and a lot of guys and people that in my life that, help me, I could always turn to. They're not
Right.
here anymore.
Yeah.
All right. That network is gone because it wasn't just them, it was their friends. They point me in the right direction. Go ask this. That's all gone. Um, and especially, like I said, as I'm getting older, I have a whole lot of knowledge or experience or wisdom to pass on. But what little bit I do, this is why I do my channel so that I can pass on the little bit that I do know,
Yeah.
try to help somebody out.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it ends up being all right, not how to, but what not to do.
Right.
Either way, that's information that can be
I
helpful.
I even made a video on how not to weld.
Right. Hey, I saw that. I saw that. And I'll tell you what, even when you're showing me how not to weld, I'm like, that's easy. I know what he's talking about because that's the way I weld. And I gave up on that. Like I said, most of my experience with welding comes in a tube that has JB marked on it.
Yeah.
That's
Well, with
that.
mine, it was see, because I got this old janky, old Lincoln welder, stick welder,
Yep.
and the cables are all rotted on it. You got bare wire exposed. I'm rigging it up I'm sending power to it from a disconnect box that used to be for a central air system.
Yep.
Running it through a big 10 gauge extension cord. Just whatever I can do to make something work.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
I just got things. I mean, you talk about the redneck engineering.
Hey,
I got it all going on here. That's how
sometimes,
I do things. He took a look around at this place. He'd say, "Jesus, everything this guy does is all rigging."
yeah, but it
In
works.
fact, I remembered having this conversation with my wife about 10 years ago. I told her, I says that if I go first, what you need to do is burn this house to the ground and go live in one of those retirement communities because everything's so janky here. You don't want to sell it to anybody.
Yeah. Oh man, I,
Yeah,
I understand. But look, you also have to understand it worked.
yeah,
Everything
it
works.
exactly.
It
It's
served its
it's like
purpose.
it's like David Freiberger says. He says when you know how to do it right, it's okay to do it wrong.
Yep. Yep. There you go. There you go. I mean, and well, of course, I'm sure you've had to do this. Um, a couple of batteries, jumper cables, and a coat
Yeah, the
hanger.
old yeah, that's what we refer to as a junkyard welder.
Yep.
You can walk through a junkyard, and if you can find three good car batteries and three sets of jumper cables, you've got
Yep.
a welder.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And oh,
And you don't even need a rod. You can snap off an antenna off an old car and use
yep.
it.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know,
But I mean,
but you got to
I
use them in short little sticks like that.
yeah. And my God, you know, now that I know a little bit better, do you know how scary that shit is?
Yeah. Well, that's why you want
If
nice long jumper cables because what will happen is you'll blow up them batteries you weld too
oh
damn long.
yeah,
But
yeah, oh yeah,
yep, been there, done that.
yeah. But hey, look, in an emergency situation too,
Exactly.
if you need to do it,
Yep.
at least at
Yep.
least it can be done. I don't know how
Yep.
many times, and I've said this so many times before. This is why I like the older vehicles because
Mhm.
when I'm somewhere where it's not really conducive to staying alive very long, I can jury rig an old vehicle to
Yeah.
get me out of that area to someplace a little bit safer,
Oh
you know?
yeah.
If
I've
not
got a
exactly get
story.
home, at least
Yeah.
get somewhere where I can actually get some help.
Yeah. I've got a story like that. A story about how me and my brother we were going to a drag strip in Wisconsin from the Chicagoland area, and we was in this old janky old Dodge van. And the reason why we were going to the drag strip is because John Force was going to be there,
Yep.
and he was doing grudge match racing. So me and my brother set out that morning to go see him, and had problems with that Dodge. Uh, and To make a long story short, it was a Sunday. Everything was closed.
Yep.
We broke down in some little town that only had one auto parts store in it. At least the auto parts store was open, but they didn't have the parts that we needed. So we scrounged around and made stuff work. I was making Chevy parts work on a Dodge truck,
Oh, yeah.
whatever it took to get it done.
Yeah. Years ago when I was in high school, I had an old 69 Ford F-250 4 by 4. And again, yeah, on a Sunday, um, truck had broken down. Now, two stories, okay? This first one I'm telling you, this was actually in my hometown, so no big deal. But I really wanted to get the truck going. And me and a friend of mine were sitting there, and I can't remember what part I needed, but we needed one part to get the truck fixed and get it going. And I was like, all right, well, all the parts stores back then, Massachusetts had what was called the blue laws. So no business was open on a Sunday.
Right.
Um, but I was like, all right, well, I know my dad has friends and they've known me since I was a kid that owned, a mom and pop. It's been a family automotive store since the 40s. Okay. Handed down to the kids and everything. And I said, I know Halloran, AJ Halloran's is what it was called.
Uh-huh.
I know these guys. I said, if we can go get them and they'll get us the part, they'll help us out. And he's like, well, they're closed. I said, yeah, I know, but they're at the Eagles Club, which is a private club right across the
Good.
street from where their shop was. And I said,
Right.
I know they're there right now. And I'm underage and everything, but I said they'll let us in because my dad's a member of the Eagles also, and I've been going in there since I was a kid.
Right.
Um, so we went in there, and we found the boy. His Bobby was his name. Found Bobby, told him what was going on. He goes, "I can tell you right now, I don't have the stock part that you need." He said, "But I I think I have something that'll work." Like you were saying, I got a Ford. All
Yeah.
right. He finished his beer. We went across the street. He opened the shop up. He went out in the back. He dug around. He comes back with this box. Again, it's got about a half inch of dust on it and everything. And believe it or not, it was for a Hudson, I believe. It was a part for a Hudson. He said, "Now, what you need to do," and he told us. He said, "You need to do this, that, and the other thing to modify." And God help me, this was 50 years ago. Okay,
Yeah.
no, I'm sorry, it was 41 years ago. This was 41 years ago. So I'm trying to remember exactly what the friggin' part was. But we had to modify it. And nothing you couldn't do with just hand tools. Would have been nice to have a machine shop. But
Yeah.
we did it with the hand tools, put it on, truck's going good. But I mean, it was just amazing. And I really do miss those old parts guys,
Yeah. Yeah.
that he said, all right, what's your problem? Okay. I know the part you need. I don't
Yeah.
know, and if we don't have the right part, we have this part. They're interchangeable. What you got to change on it is this and this, and it's fine. And
There's one guy that I follow on YouTube, and I follow him because he's exactly what you're talking about. He's an old guy. He talks a lot about flatheads, and I like sitting there watching
oh
that
yeah,
because you just don't know anybody that even knows how to work on a flathead
yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
But he'll be talking about old Packard engines, or old Studebaker stuff, you know.
I'm sorry, it wasn't Hudson, it was Studebaker. Thank you.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah.
Studebaker part. I'm sorry.
And what's that other one? The uh, not the Auburn cord. Although it wouldn't surprise me at all if this old man knows about Auburn cord
Oh, yeah.
engines. But it would be. Did I say Packard?
Yes, sir.
Did I? Okay, yeah, yeah. But yeah, Packards and Hudsons and all that. You know, all the old stuff. You know.
Oh, yeah.
It's really neat to listen to these guys, you know, especially this old guy because he knew them things inside and out. He knew how they were manufactured and he knew what to look for and that's just it. See, when that old guy goes, thank God they're getting it all on video, you know,
Yeah. Yep.
because when he goes, it, you know, it's like it's a lost art, you know.
Oh, yeah, you know, mm, let me all right, let me speak. Come on, Mark, get your words out. Use your words. Uh, Again, because of this transmission, I've learned a lot of stuff, and something else that I have found out that I thought was very, 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 very interesting. And speaking of old time stuff, Model T Ford. The
Hmm.
transmission in a Model T Ford is not much different than our modern day
Yep.
automatic transmissions. The biggest difference between a Model T Ford transmission and this transmission I'm taking apart right now, two things. It doesn't have, the hydraulic coupler, which is your torque converter,
Hmm. Hmm.
and two, it doesn't have a valve body. But if you've ever seen a Model T Ford, you got three pedals on the floor, none of which
Yep.
are gas,
Yep.
and then you have the shifter on the left. Other than the brake, your brake is the one on the right where your gas should be. The
Yep.
one in the middle is for your reverse. The one on
Yep.
the left is for your low high, and then you have your gear and clutch
Yeah.
and everything on that
Yep.
shift.
Yep.
All that's doing is operating the same devices, the same bands, and the same clutch packs and drums that your valve body operates, but you're just doing it manually.
Hmm.
In other words, there's no gears in there, with the shifting fork that moves the gears, or
Yeah.
like a motorcycle engine that's constant mesh with a set of ball
So,
bearings that engage the gears.
so is
It,
that like a planetary gear set
yes,
then?
yeah, it's
With
planetary
bands that clamp and
with
grab to
bands and clutches in
redirect the
it,
drive.
just like an automatic transmission. The only difference is instead of your instead of having a fluid pump and a fluid coupler and a valve body, you're doing everything manually
Hmm.
through the levers. You're making everything when you press the reverse. When you press that pedal in the middle, there's a rod that tightens the reverse band on your low reverse clutch drum and operates. Of course, the planetary gears operate
Yeah.
because it stops that low reverse drum from
Right.
spinning, and you're just
Right.
doing it manually
Right.
instead of valve. I thought that was
Yeah.
incredible.
I
You know, thi- things
when
I learned today.
when I was a teenager, there was an old guy that lived in my neighborhood that worked on those old cars like that, and
Yep.
he had a 1914 Model T, and uh, he asked me if I would be interested in making a little money helping him work on it. And what he had me doing was sanding down the wooden spoke wheels after he'd filled them in with Bondo, you know.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
But yeah, he was showing me how those old Model Ts worked and showed me how the one lever is the throttle and the other one's the magneto and you got
Yep. Yep.
you're
Your
setting your
timing,
spark
your
advance
advance.
and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, the pedals on the floor aren't your gas and your brake,
No,
so to speak, you know.
no, going from
But,
right to left, you
yeah.
you have
But
your brake,
he
then you
also
have
had
your
this
reverse, and then you
he
have first
also
and
had an
second.
old Chrysler. Uh I can't remember if it was like 32 or 34 Chrysler. That it was interesting in that it had a manual transmission, but there was no drive shaft.
Oh, no
The
kidding.
Yep, what it did was that right at the end of the transmission,
was a hydraulic pump and two lines that went to a slave pump that was attached to the rear axle. It was
Okay.
what they called a hydro drive.
Okay.
So there's no drive shaft. So everything, the engine and transmission were doing nothing more than driving a hydraulic pump that
Yeah.
would send hydraulic pressure to a slave pump that was connected to the rear differential. And that's how those things drove. And I've
My
never
God.
seen anything like that before, and I haven't seen anything like that since. But
Yeah.
they
No
did
kid.
exist.
That's almost like putting a torque converter at the tail shaft instead of
Yeah.
at the connection
Well,
between the engine and the
yeah, and
transmission.
the purpose of that was to try to take some of the herky jerkiness out of stick shift drives.
I
You
gotcha.
see, because that hydraulic fluid would absorb some of that shock.
Yeah.
But- and that's why they called it a hydro drive, and it was a smoother, and that's how they marketed it back in
Yeah.
those days. A smoother drive, you
Yeah.
see,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Oh, I
But
gotcha.
that a lot of that kind of stuff, that you just you won't see anymore. You don't even know about.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That stuff is interesting. I love that.
and
That's
my dad was into a lot of those old cars too. He knew a lot about that old stuff. Back in the 50s, he was hot rodding all the old stuff.
oh, I
And
got
in
you. Well,
fact, it was in the late 90s. He found a 1942 Studebaker, I think it was a Studebaker Champion, like a 42 Studebaker Champion. And they were rare because, see, uh, 42 was when Studebaker also stopped making cars and put all their work towards the war effort.
oh yeah. Yep. Yep.
So, but anyway, and the reason why he found this old 42 and the reason why he'd always been looking for one is because that was the first car he ever had, you know, and, uh, and his first car, he took I think it had a inline six flathead in it.
Yep.
And, what he did was to hot rod it up was he put a flathead V8 in it, the flathead 100 V8 in it, a Ford engine. But that was back in the days. And there were no high performance parts. There was nobody
No.
custom making camshafts
No.
or anything. In fact, one of the tricks that my dad and his buddies used to use is they would take the stock camshafts and they grind off on the back side of the base circle
Yep.
so that when you reinstalled everything, it would give you a higher lift on the
Yep.
valve. You see, it's just little tricks like that.
Oh my
And
God. Yeah.
there was no such thing as mag wheels or sport wheels or lightweight wheels. Everybody just used the old steel wheels.
Yep.
And they would cut them off and reverse the uh, the welds on them, or reverse the hub part of the wheel
Yep.
just to make them stick out farther.
Oh yeah.
Make them look wider. And then they'd paint a line down the middle. Half of the rim would be white and the other half would be red. That was a cool thing to do.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I got you,
So,
man. It's just
and
you know.
yeah, and I tried spending as much time as I could with my dad in the last 10 years of his life, just to let him know because one, we had the same interests.
Yep.
And my
Yep.
dad just had a corral full of stuff. He had a real nice old 69 Torino that I helped him put a 460 big block in. He had a 64 F100 that we put a 390 block in. And, well, they had that 42 Studebaker. They had a 47 GMC pickup truck that originally had flatbed on it. He made a sheet metal bed himself for it. And, just all kinds of stuff. He also had it was like a 70 or 71 Chevy pickup that had the factory, the truck was in incredible shape and still had the factory original inline six in it. And he wanted to take that out and put this 350 that he had bought in it. He never did get to that. In fact, he also had a little Toyota truck that he needed to do some head work on. And he was in the process of trying to get the exhaust manifold off when he just felt real bad. And he ended up going and seeing a doctor and faded away, from there. So that was kind of
Yeah.
tough going
Yeah.
into his garage after he was gone and seeing that he's right in the middle of working on a car when he,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
right,
No, I
working
understand that.
working on a truck actually. But yeah, that's just how it goes.
Oh yeah.
My biggest, well, I shouldn't say a fear. It's not a fear that I have, but I'll tell you what: if something were to happen to me out here, being out here in the backwoods, and no one, no one
Yep.
would know. If I fell off the roof, I'd be dead.
Yeah.
So I stay off the roof.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah. 2 weeks before I got married to my wife, right now, I was married before. We were going to have the wedding in the backyard of the place we were living in at the time, and it had a bunch of old outbuildings. I loved that place, God.
Yeah,
Um, but all the outbuildings, they all had tin roofs, and they were looking pretty nasty. So
right.
I got up on the roof and I was painting them and everything. Well, the wife comes out. She starts hollering at me. What are you doing up on the roof? Get down off that roof right now. I turned to look at her, and as I did, I stepped on that wet paint. Down I come.
Yep.
I come
Slip.
sliding off that roof, man, and I landed right on my back, and I landed in a bush that had cinder blocks around a planter, basically around it. It broke 4 ribs, and I come down, whoomp, and it scared the hell out of her. It scared the hell out of me too, because it knocked the wind out of me,
Right.
and everything. And to this day, I just tell her, "Well, hey, hon, you told me to get off the roof, and what did
Yep.
I do? I listened to you. I come right down off that roof."
Getting right down.
Yep. Now
I
here, I was going to say, here's the funny part. My ex-wife, okay, very good friends with my wife, okay.
uh-huh.
Matter of fact, my ex-wife introduced me to my current wife, and so
Mm,
I mean, we get along. All three of us, we get along great.
right.
But when I got to the hospital and everything, the doctor comes into the room and says to me, "Is everything okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm hurting." He said, "No, no. What I mean is, you actually fell off the roof." I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He said, "Because this is the first time that I have had somebody here with their wife, ex-wife, and their fiance, saying that the man fell off fell off the roof."
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if I wasn't in so much pain, I would have played it up. I would have said, "Oh my God. All right, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. Keep them away from me. They tried to kill me."
I have to get up on my roof every now and then because with all these trees and stuff, I get the leaves build up on it.
Ye
So I got to get up there with the leaf blower and take the leaves off. But every now and then I'll get up there with the pressure washer too and pressure wash it because, you know, but that's just it. You can't, you don't want to be up there. You don't want to go up there shortly after a rain because that metal roof is just too slick. You'll come right off it.
Oh my God, yeah. Matter of fact, my shed last year, I had a tree from the neighbors. All right, come across the fence, hit the back of the shed. I didn't think much about it. They got rid of the tree. They cleaned everything up, but unfortunately, it had disturbed the shingles enough that now all the sheeting on the roof, I got a hole in the roof. I got a big ass hole in the roof. I got to get up there and fix it before more of it rots away.
Right.
Um, and oh God, I really don't look forward to it. One, I don't have the money for new shingles or even the plywood to put up there. But what I do have is I do have some nice sheets of galvanized steel that I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw up there for now, overlap what good
Right.
shingles I do have to get me through the winter.
Right.
Before that roof really rots away. Already now I have to replace some rafters or at least sister join them in. You know.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
my house originally had shingles on it, and I put metal roof on it. Tore all the shingles off. Whoops. Hold on a second.
all right, sir.
I lost you there. Okay, I'm
I,
back.
yeah.
What I was going to say is, this house had shingles on it, and I put the metal roof on it myself. And I put it on myself. I didn't hire anybody to do it. I had to do it myself. I and This is a manufactured home, so when I got the shingles off of it, I and where there was plywood that had to be replaced. Well, matter of fact, all the plywood had to be replaced, and they were held down with these 1 inch wide staples. So I'm up
Ooh,
there with
okay.
a hammer, a screwdriver, and a pry bar,
Yep.
pulling out every single staple
Oh, good
for
Lord. Yeah.
every single piece of plywood on that big huge roof. I don't know if you can see it,
Oh, yeah.
for the whole length of the house.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
So, whoops, it's acting funny, but yeah, that's and here's the funny thing: when I pulled off all the plywood, I had it all I would just shove it off the roof, you know.
Yep.
So I had all this plywood laying on the ground all the way around the house. Now my mother's husband shows up, and he told me, he says, I can give you a little help here for a couple of hours. He's like, what would you like me to do? And I told him, I said, well, just start grabbing all them pieces of plywood I got laying on the ground and pile them up over here. I says, and we'll burn them. He's like, okay. And so now I'm working on the back side of the house, and he had all the plywood picked up, and he had it all stacked in a big pile, and he lit it on fire. We
Oh,
had a damn bonfire going. And I'm not kidding you. There was actually a patrol airplane that flew over at the time. They probably saw all the smoke,
yep.
you know, and he had to loop back around and come back and take a second look.
Oh, yeah.
They thought there was a damn forest fire going on out here.
No doubt.
So
Oh, my God. Yeah. Um, it's, I've had too much coffee now. I need something to get rid of that caffeine buzz. So
yeah.
don't tell the
Whoop.
wife, but I'm stealing a beer.
I lost you again. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Well, oh, shit. Lost them pretty good this time. All right, guys. Uh, whoever's watching, don't tell the wife I grabbed a beer. I'm gonna put it in my coffee cup. Not that she watches my videos, especially the live ones. She don't really watch it, but we'll just keep this to ourselves. Philip, if you get back on, buddy, I lost you. You're not in the. I totally lost you, my friend. Just scroll back up. Well, here, let me see if I can get the link back up for you, and just we'll see if it works. This thing gives me fits. Yeah, I was having trouble earlier. For whatever reason, it doesn't want to paste. It'll copy the link, but it don't want to paste. Just scroll back up to the top of the. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go, Philip. I'm going to put the link back up for you. There you go. I put the link back up if that helps you. That way you ain't got to look for it. Then you hop back on if you want. I'm enjoying talking to you. Like I said, I'm sorry for the past actually few months. Yeah, we haven't been able to hook up, and I miss talking to you. It's very interesting. It's better than, not that I don't mind the sound of my own voice, but it's nice to bounce a few things off of somebody else, and I love your stories too. They're awesome. Um, it's one of the reasons why I enjoy doing the live streams. Just for a simple fact that you get somebody else in here that's more interesting than me, and I enjoy talking to people. Here you are. There we go. Let me get you back in here. There
Okay.
you go, sir. Welcome back.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I think it was that tablet I was using. So now I'm back on my cell phone. So
Oh, okay.
let's see if I can set this.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So,
I just hate working with these small screens.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Well,
uh,
with the live stream, that's about the only thing I use my laptop for, and this is like a 12-year-old laptop. But
yeah,
which in computer years, it puts it to be about 90 years old in computer years. But that's what I use it for, just almost exclusively is the live stream.
yeah,
Couple reasons. One, it allows me to use the headset, which is an old-fashioned plug-in type.
right.
The phone doesn't even have anything I can actually plug anything into it with the old pin plug.
Right.
And two, because it is a laptop, especially on the live stream, I have a few more options, and it's easier for me to read. The screen's bigger. It's easier for me to read the comment section, and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
easier for me
yeah.
to operate everything. Now,
My tablet is just a little bit too big to hold with one hand, and I end up touching stuff. So I wanted to
hmm,
bring you in here for a second. This is my shed here.
I got
I
you. Yep.
built this. I built all of this all by myself too.
Yeah, and that's the one with the secret door to it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's the door right there.
Yep.
So, but yeah, from the outside you can't even tell.
Yeah. Yeah, I like
See,
that. I like that. Yeah, that is awesome, man. I like that. Uh,
the idea
that
there being that if I put a door there, people would know it's a door. They know they can get in that way. You
Yep.
make it look like a wall. The thought of going in that way doesn't occur to them.
Right.
Not like I got a problem with burglars or nothing. Not out here, but just saying.
No, but it's still cool. Yeah, it kind of does me no good to do that with my shed because it's a separate building that's kind of sitting and taking up 2/3 of my backyard. They kind of understand,
Yeah,
even if I can't
yeah,
find a door, there's got to be some way in there,
yeah, yeah.
But
But
the
get a
door to
look
the man
around a
room,
little bit.
the door to the man room in there, though, I was thinking about doing
Yeah,
something like that. Because you'd be surprised how many people come into the shed, and at first they won't notice the door to the man room. And they'll be like, "Yeah, there's a whole other 12 foot by 28 foot room in here." And they're like, "Oh my
all right.
god, I didn't even notice that." And so yeah, I'm starting to think that maybe I'll do something like that where the door isn't so obvious.
Yeah, that kind of a secret door kind of thing.
Yeah.
I was at a place in Chicago. This is when I was doing heating and air conditioning work. We went to this place in Chicago. It's right at the corner of Broadway and Lawrence on the north side of Chicago. It was an old gang, like a mobster hangout back in the day.
Gotcha.
It's matter of fact, the place itself is on the National Register of Historic Places. It's a bar called the Green Mill, and
Okay.
it used to belong to a mobster by the name of Bugs Moran, and
Yep.
Until Al Capone had him killed and took his bar from him,
Yep.
and it became Al Capone's place. It was up on the North Shore, like I said, and there was even a movie where they filmed there. It was I think it was Robert Duvall and what was his name, Morgan Freeman, where they're
Okay.
supposed to be brothers,
Oh, no
right?
kidding. Yep.
Yeah, they're supposed to be like long lost brothers. And there's a scene in that movie where they're standing outside the Green Mill Tavern
Oh, no kidding.
and shooting a scene, and they're talking with one another. And what's cool is, one, I've been in that Green Mill. I've been all in it. And
Yep.
what's across the kitty corner from that intersection is a very historic bank. It's the Uptown Bank, and that bank goes back to like 1900, I think, was when that bank was built.
Oh, good
But
Lord.
anyway,
Yeah.
where I'm going with this story is that because I did heating and air conditioning work, and there's this very wealthy couple that owns all the buildings all up and down Lawrence there, including they own the bank building. They now own the building that the Green Mill is in. They own the theater next door. They own all the buildings up and down Lawrence there. And we would do all their heating and air conditioning work. And we had to run some new line sets for central air, you know. And that's where, and my grandfather was the one showing me all of this, you know. And
Oh,
he'd take me back
Phil-
into this secret passageway.
hold that just for a second. I have got to get rid
Okay.
of the coffee. It'll take me 30
Okay.
seconds. I got to get rid of that coffee. Otherwise, I won't
Okay,
be
I'll
able
wait.
to focus on your story. Hold on.
All right. In the meantime, I'll do scenic shots. I wish I could flip the camera around. All I can do is shoot over my shoulder. We'll come out this way. Let's see how far I can go before I lose my Wi-Fi signal. It's still pretty strong. Heading out the driveway. Turn around. I've still got a good strong Wi-Fi signal. But yeah, it's a pretty nice day out here today. It's only about 80 degrees. So
All right, buddy.
yeah,
I am so sorry.
while you
Phillip.
was gone, I was just taking you for a little tour around the property. You know?
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, man. I am
I'm now
so
walking
sorry.
out the driveway to see how far down the driveway I can go before I lose my Wi-Fi signal.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, anyway,
Your
pick up where I
grandfather
left off.
Yep.
Yeah, my grandfather was showing me all these back ways, these secret passageways and everything from back in the old bootlegging days. And you go into this narrow little hallway, and you think you're coming to the end of the hallway, and you see, I watched my granddad. He says, "Watch this." He grabs this stiff piece of wire that was hanging on a nail, took it off, shoved that wire in through a little hole in what looked like a wooden wall, and this door opened up.
Oh,
You
no
know,
kid.
and that was where there was this big open area, which is where they hid all the bootleg liquor.
Oh my
You
God.
see?
Yeah.
So that's what gave me the idea to do that door like that, was to have some kind of a secret way to make it look like a wall, and then
Yep.
have some secret way, you know, to open it up. And so what I've done is I did just that. I put an old 1800s door latch on the inside, and then I just drill a hole through the outer panel, and then I cover that panel with a piece of trim.
Yep.
And what you got to do is you got to go up, you got to open up trim, stick a doorknob in through the hole, and turn it to open the latch.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Yeah, that is awesome, man. I like that stuff.
But yeah, well, listen, I better just go ahead and get off here and get working on that car rather than wasting a perfectly good Sunday. You know?
I hear you, buddy. Well, hey, man, I really do. I appreciate getting the time here to talk with you this time. You know, I really do. I enjoy talking to you so much. I really do.
And I hope you enjoy that game. Yeah, if you go to my channel, you can find that video on there. It's only about 3 minutes long or so, but it's a real simple game. If you can catch the video,
I'll find it. I'll find it.
It'll explain it. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get off here and try to do something productive today. Okay.
All right, buddy. Yeah, that'll get me motivated to go clean up that valve body and everything. And
right.
so,
yeah, I really got to get on Pontiac. I can't. Here's the damnedest thing. I was sitting there flipping through my phone at some of the old on the photographs that I have on it.
Yep.
And I remember, because I remember taking a picture of the car the day I put it up on the jack stands. And I got to looking at that, and I started looking at the data on that. And that car has been up on these jack stands for 1.5 years now.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I better get it done, you know.
Oh, I hear you, my friend. All right,
But
buddy.
I
Well,
got to
good
get
luck
on.
with that. You have yourself a
All
good
right.
day.
All right.
And
You take care.
I will try. Check your phone next weekend too. I don't know which day, but I'll try and do another live stream.
Okay.
All
Yeah. I'll
all
make
right,
sure I
buddy.
have all the notifications on. So, and we'll see if it works, you know?
I got you, man. I got you.
All right.
All right, buddy. You have a good one.
Yeah. Take care. Bye bye.
All right. Hey, that was great. Philip, yeah, always great talking to you, man. I really appreciate you hopping on here. And again, for the last few months, I'm sorry that, especially the last couple times you tried to get on, it's kind of like, hi, Philip, I got to go. I am, and I don't mean to do that to you. Um, I hate doing that, but anyway, yeah, and it's one of the things why I like doing these live streams, especially when I have people pop on because I enjoy talking to them. Um, and again, open invitation to anyone. That's why the link is up there. And in case you didn't know it, you don't have to come on with the screen. It will take voice only as well. My sister does it all the time. There's a couple other people who have done that a few times, or you can just put a still picture up, a thumbnail, whatever. Um, but yeah, and it helps me, especially when I'm unsupervised. The wife isn't here. Uh, I enjoy just getting on and just yakking and catching up and seeing what's going on. Like I said, I do this whole YouTube thing as a hobby and as for fun. And I do enjoy it. A lot of times I don't have, especially on the live stream, I don't have any topic um, that I have pre-planned. I don't have a script. I don't have anything, and that's good and bad in a way. It doesn't make for real good content that you know what you're getting into. But on the other hand, for me, I enjoy it. I enjoy it, and when I can get somebody on and talk to them and everything, they seem to enjoy themselves. And with that being said, too, I do have a few family members and friends that that like my live streams because usually they're long. This one here is a little bit over 2 hours, and they say they put it on at night to help them get to sleep. And I'm still not sure if that's a compliment or an insult, but if my voice can put you to sleep and it helps, that's awesome. And Philip, yeah, thank you, buddy. You have a good day. I hope you get everything accomplished, and it was great having you on. I really, really, really appreciate talking to you. That was awesome. And as far as I'm concerned right now, I don't know. I might babble for a little bit longer. I don't know. I don't know. Pretty much, I'm just kind of procrastinating about going back in the shed and cleaning, um, cleaning up the transmission. I'm so tired of working on this transmission, but I have no choice, and I'll get it. I'll get it done. I'm learning every day. Whew. But I'm getting worn down. I'm getting tired of it. But and Philip, yes, I will check out your video. I've been looking forward to it. And like I said earlier, I had mentioned it, and we'll see what's going on with that. Um, and you know what? I just want to say something else too to all my subscribers and everyone out here. I mean, just great bunch of people. Great, great bunch of people. I can't say enough about you all. I went back and you know, my videos don't get a whole lot of views. Most of them are 100 views or under. And I understand that I have a few. I have quite a few, honestly, that are over 1,000 views, 5,000 views, 60,000 views. I have a couple like that. And a lot of them, with the likes and everything on them too. And one thing I have noticed, this is why I say, you know, my subscribers and the people out there, even though there's not a whole lot of views, most of my videos have got the like, you know, the ratio, they're right up there, obviously at 100%, which I appreciate. You know, I'm putting that down to a lot of people that view them. You know, if they don't have anything nice to say, they don't say anything at all, which is fine with me. It makes me feel good. At least I didn't piss somebody off enough that they had to voice their opinion negatively. But even if you do, I mean, that's fine. Uh, just like any media system, you know, uh, bad attention is just as good as good attention. But me personally, I like the good attention. Um, Overall, my channel has a 97% like to dislike ratio, uh, which with over 300 videos, that's not bad. Even though it's a small channel, and like I said, a lot of my videos get under 100 views, that's fine. You know, that's pretty cool. And that doesn't say anything about my videos, really. That says about something. It says a lot about the people that are watching them. You're very kind. You're good people. Good people. And I appreciate that. You know, it's great. Because I also try not. Well, what I try to do is on any topic I'm talking about, I try I try to find a common ground. What do we have in common that we're interested in, other than what differences do we have and what can we argue about? I go through enough of that crap in real life. Um, it's not something I want to portray or put out on my videos or even my live stream. No, I don't mind having discussions where you have a different view than I do, as long as it's, you know, I like it when it's respectful and we can have a discussion or even a debate. I don't mind that at all. Um, but again, life is hard enough. And one of the things is it's better if we find what we have in common and not worry so much about our differences, you know? And, you know, it's one of the things in real life, this household right here, between me and my wife and everybody and our friends and everything, something that we've cultivated over the past 25 years uh, has been, you know, you come over to the house. If you're over here, you mind your P's and Q's, of course. There are certain little rules, but you don't have to you don't have to pretend to be something you're not. Be yourself. Doesn't matter what yourself is, as long as you're behaved, you know, for the most part. Everybody has a bad day. Stuff happens. But we've also heard from everyone is it's one of the great things that they say, it makes me feel good, makes the wife feel good, is that no matter who they are when they come over, they've said, yeah, I can be myself. I, you know, obviously within reason, but that makes me feel good. That's what another thing I like to put out with my channel. No matter your interest or whatever, especially on live streams too. You know, I want you to be able to talk. I want to talk to you. Have a conversation, have a debate if that's what you want. Don't care too much for arguments or, you know, whatever. But we can be on opposite sides and have a debate and just be yourself. You know, just sit there, relax, be yourself, be who you are. That's really what I try to do myself. I don't try to put on too many airs. I mean, and trust me, just like a lot of people. I don't always feel comfortable sitting here going, well, I screwed this up, I screwed that up. It is hard for me to throw that out on the internet where everyone can see it, but I also try not to hide it. I don't always succeed. I'm human. And uh, even though I admit to being an idiot, I don't really like to prove it over and over again. It happens, and I do, but but I do the best I can with what I have, and most of the times for what I have to work with, both materials and intelligence and skill, I actually do a lot better than the individual materials and skill should allow me to do. Um, but anyway, and that's why I try to get everyone. Part of my channel is to try to get out that positive message. Get out there and try something. Do something. If I can do it, I'm sure somebody else can do it also. And that's the biggest thing. I don't have a whole lot. Some of the stuff I do, I really don't have a whole lot of official training. I don't have a whole lot of skill. Um, but I still make do and I manage. And if I can do it, you all can do it. All you got to do is take that first step and try. And God, I know it's hard. And you might end up with a transmission like I have, where you just keep doing it over and over and over and over again. But one of the things is I'm either too stubborn to quit or too stupid to. I still haven't figured that out yet. But anyway, enough of me babbling. I've been on here for 2.25 hours, yakking away, and that's what 3 cups of coffee will do to me in the morning. That's why I'm having anti-coffee right now. Again, don't tell the wife. That's our secret between us. But I'm gonna let y'all go, and whew, go do something I'm supposed to do, or I should do. And again, I appreciate everyone that showed up, stopped by for a minute. I really do appreciate you popping in, checking it out, and just want to thank y'all. I love this community. Everyone's been so great to me. I really appreciate it. Y'all have yourselves a good Sunday. I hope you had a good weekend. And yeah, I'm going to take off now. And I'll try and catch you next weekend sometime, depending on how things are going, how busy I am, and whether or not I piss the old lady off and I get smothered in my sleep or not. But y'all take care. Be good. Be safe. We'll catch you next weekend.